Hello everyone. Yesterday we have discussed about the water treatment process. Once again I am repeating. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies such as lakes, rivers, oceans and groundwater by human activities. All the water pollution affects organisms and plants that live in the water bodies, and in almost all cases the effect is damaging either to individual species and population but also to the natural biological communities. It occurs when pollutants are discharged directly or indirectly into the water bodies without adequate treatment to remove harmful constituents. Okay, so this is a major introduction for the water pollution. Here the treatment of water intended for human consumption is very old practice, like example boiling and filtering of drinking water. Here water treatment describes those process used to make water more acceptable for a desired end to end use. Okay, suppose if you take the water purification, it is the removal of contaminants from untreated water to produce drinking water that is pure enough for its intended use, most commonly human consumption purpose. In this purification process, the process involved in a treating water for drinking purpose may be solids separation using physical such as settling and filtration, chemical such as disinfection and coagulation process. Okay, so here we have process for drinking water. uh, Basically the combination of following process. Let us see what are the processes are involved in this purification. Pre-chlorination, aeration, coagulation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection, all these things are involved in the filtration process or water treatment process. Now, uh, already in the previous class, we have discussed about the uh, different types of screening. Screening is nothing but the removal of any floating objects like leaves, branches, fishes, weeds, uh, wooden pieces, paper pieces. All these things comes under this one. Here we are removing all the debris from the water. That process is called screening. Here we are arranging one mesh or some small steel bars, so these will be filter the water. Okay, next in the screening process we have different types of screenings. This is mechanical screening, aeration. This is a aeration process. After screening process we have to perform the aeration process. Here, why we are conducting this aeration? Dissolving oxygen into the water to remove smell and taste, promote helpful bacteria to grow and precipitate nuisance metals like iron and manganese. For this we are doing aeration process. This aeration process method is cascade aerator or gravity aerator. This is called cascade aerator or gravity aerator. We have different types of aerators. uh, you can see this is the spray aerator. Next one is this is also comes under spray aerator or nozzle aerators. This is mechanical aerator, slat tray aerator. Here we will arrange one paddle. This paddle will mix the water. After filtration aeration process, we go towards the sedimentation process. What is meant by sedimentation? Sedimentation is nothing but removal of suspended matters having higher specific gravity than the water and also fine suspended matter. Okay, so here we are removing the suspended matter which is having the higher specific gravity rather than water. Next, after sedimentation process, in the sedimentation we have two types of sedimentation. one is we have to store the water in the sedimentation tank at a particular time. During that particular time, all the suspended matter will be settled down. The time taking to settle the suspended matter is called as detention time. In the next process, the water will comes from the inlet chamber. Through the inlet, it will goes in the sedimentation tank with minimum velocity. While it is flowing, all the suspended matter will be settled down. Okay, this is the continuation process. Here we are not storing the water. These are the main two different types of sedimentation process. Next one is coagulation. Why we are adding what is meant by coagulation? Coagulation is nothing but it is the destabilization of the colloids by addition of chemicals that neutralize the negative charges. If you add the coagulant to the particular water, then it will be destabilize the colloids. Okay, what is this coagulant? Coagulant is nothing but that is a chemical. Okay, just like alum, the chemicals are known as coagulants. Chemicals are known as coagulants. Coagulation is essentially a chemical process. Okay, simply surface water must be treated to remove turbidity, color and bacteria. The objective of coagulation is to turn the small particles of color, turbidity and bacteria into the larger flux through precipitation. Here flux means if you add the coagulant to the particular water, then what will happen? All the colloidal particles will come and join together as a single flux. Okay, then these all things comes and join together as a single flux. Then automatically this flux specific gravity will be increased than the water. Then finally it will be settled down. Okay, if you take the individual colloidal particles or suspended particles, those specific gravity is lesser than the water. That is why it is floating in the water. If you want to settle down that particle and if you want to remove that particle, you have to join or combine all the suspended particles. That is why you are adding coagulant. Coagulant is nothing but chemical. A method to alter the colloids so that they will be able to approach and adhere to each other to form larger flux particle. This is simple definition. A coagulant is a substance, nothing but chemical, that is added to water, accomplish coagulation process. Okay, we have some properties for the coagulation. What are those properties? First one is prevalent cation. Colloids must commonly negative charge, hence cation is required to neutralize the charge. Next one is nanotoxic. Third one is insoluble in the natural pH range. The coagulant must be precipitate out of solution so that high concentrations of the ion are not left in the water. Okay, two most commonly coagulants are, first one is Al 3 plus. This is the important thing. This is the main important coagulant. And Fe 3 plus. Fe 3 plus. So these two things are coagulants. Aluminium can be purchased by a dry or liquid alum. Uh, this is nothing but alum. Alum scientific name. If you write it in chemical composition, Al2 SO4 SO4 3. Okay, this is alum. This is the main coagulant which we are using. Okay, next one is iron as a sulfate salt or chloride salt. Here iron as a sulfate salt I4H2O. Okay, this is iron as a sulfate salt or chloride salt. Check for the reaction occurs when the aluminum and ferrous or iron, if you add it to the water. When the aluminum is added to water containing alkalinity, here I will show you the reaction. If you add the aluminum to the water, what will happen? Alum, Al2, SO4, plus 3 into I4 H2O plus 6 HCO3. Here two AlOH3 to 3 H2O plus 6CO2 plus 8H2O plus 3SO. Okay, so like this you will get the equation if you add the alum or aluminum and iron to the water. Okay, so you should keep in your mind. However, as long as sufficient alkalinity is present and carbon dioxide is allowed to evolve, the pH is not drastically reduced and is generally not an operational problem. Okay, uh, if you when sufficient alkalinity is not present to neutralize the sulfuric acid production, the pH may be greatly reduced. Here, if you suppose take the alkalinity is not present in the neutralized to neutralize the sulfuric acid production. So here what will happen? you have to take these two things same as it is here. Okay, from this you will get same these things 2 Al OH3 into 3 H2O H2O, okay, into S sulfur plus here what will happen, same again 3 H2O SO4. Plus 2 H2O. This is the thing. Okay, when sufficient alkalinity is not present to neutralize the sulfuric acid production, the pH may be greatly reduced as like this. If lime or sodium carbonate may be added to neutralize the acid, two important factors in coagulant addition are pH and dose. So two important factors we have to keep it in your mind, that is pH value and dose. The optimum dose and pH must be determined from laboratory test. How do you find out that pH value and how much quantity of dose you have to add? That is from the laboratory test. You have to conduct in the test in the laboratory. Okay. Uh, One of the most common methods to evaluate coagulation efficiency is to conduct the jar test. You can find out the dose and pH value with the help of jar test. How do you find out? Six six beakers are filled with water. Here, what you have to do? Here, having like this, six jars are there. Six jars are there. On the top, we have frame. One frame is there. This frame attached with one paddle. Okay, here six beakers are filled with water and each is mixed and fluctuated uniform by a Ging stirrer. This is nothing but stirrer. Here you have to, in this each beaker we have water. Okay, in this beaker we are adding some fluctuant, that is alum or something, whatever it is, the chemical is there, you have to add, and then it will be stirred. A test is often conducted by first dosing each jar with the same alum dose and varying the pH in each jar. This is the second step. Next one, what you have to do, the test can be repeated in a second set of jars by holding the pH constant and varying the coagulant dose. So next one, you have to perform in the second jar up to maintain the minimum pH value. You have to add some amount of the chemical, that is coagulant. Okay, the test can be repeated in a second set of jars by holding the pH constants and varying the coagulant dose. The water is mixed rapidly for 1 minute to ensure complete dispersion of the chemicals, and the mixed slowly for 15 to 20 minutes to aid in the formation of flux. So up to 15 to 20 minutes you have to add, or sorry, you have to mix it to form a flux. The water is allowed to settle for 30 minutes. Then after 30 minutes of mixing, what you have to do, wait for until 30 minutes. During that particular 30 minutes, all the flux will be settled down. Okay, the water is allowed to settle for 30 minutes. The water is tested using turbidity test for the settled water. Then what you have to do, you have to conduct the turbidity test. In the later we will discuss about the turbidity test. What are the different types of turbidity tests are there, what is meant by turbidity. Okay, all these things we will be discussed. Next one is softening. The hardness is nothing but what is meant by hardness. It is the sum of all polyvalent cations and the common units of expression in milligram per liter. Okay, hardness means sum of all polyvalent cation and the common units of expressed in milligram per liter, milligram per liter as CaCO3, calcium carbonate, CaCO3. This is the hardness. Okay, next, already you have studied in the chemistry about the hardness, temporary hardness, permanent hardness. How do you remove that hardness? Okay, already you have studied. Next one is fluctuation. Fluctuation. The most important factor affecting particle removal efficiency is fluctuation. If you do the perform the test very well, then automatically you can improve the efficiency of the uh, sedimentation process. The main objective of fluctuation is it is to bring the particles into contact so that they will collide, stick together and grow to a size that will readily settle. Enough mixing is important throughout the process. Already I told you. Here uh, some introduction regarding the mixing devices and fluctuation. We have rapid mixing is there. The process whereby chemicals are quickly and uniformly dispersed in the water, that is rapid mixing. Precipitators are formed from the chemical reaction that takes place in rapid mixing during coagulation and softening process. Coagulation form already I have discussed, that is alum, Al, OH3, Al, OH3 or iron, that is FeOH3. Okay, next, fluctuation. Fluctuation, it is the contacting process of the precipitates formed from the coagulation and softening with one and another. Here we have different types of fluctuation. First one is mixing basins with baffle walls. Here you can see baffle chamber. This is a baffle. Okay. Here what you are doing, you should send the water Now I am drawing, this is the plan, I am drawing the section like it is having like this. Okay, this is the inlet. So if water enters through the inlet, it will pass like this. Here we are creating the turbulence to the water. Due to the turbulence, what is happening? Uh, the water is mixing with some certain chemicals. Those are coagulants. Okay. So here you can see in the plan like this, water is flowing like this. Okay, in the zigzag way, it creates the turbulence. Okay, next one is mixing basin with mechanical devices, that is rapid mixing. Rapid or flash mixing is the process by which a coagulant is rapidly and uniformly dispersed through the mass of water. Here we are performing the test or performing the coagulation process or doing the coagulation process with rapidly. This process usually occurs in a small basin immediately preceding or at the head of the coagulation basin. Generally, the detention period is 30 to 60 seconds. Already you have studied the detention period, and the head loss is 20 to 60 centimeters of water. Here, colloids are destabilized and the nucleus for the flux is formed. Slow mixing brings the contacts between the finely divided destabilized matter formed during the rapid mixing. Clear? Here you see, this is the glass jar. In this jar, I pour the water. In that particular water, we can observe the impurities. Okay. Now here I am adding the coagulant to the particular water. Then it will be converted as a coagulant forms precipitate trapping impurities. So you can observe all the impurities here after addition of coagulation. Then finally it will become flux and this specific gravity will become increase rather than water. Then finally it will be settled down. The precipitate and trapped impurities settle to the bottom. Settle to the bottom. This is called coagulation principle. For this, uh, in this Buffel valves, the main power given to the liquid in a buffel tank by an impeller for fully turbulent flow. Okay, for fully turbulent flow we have some formula, but that is no need for us. It is a BTech syllabus. Okay, so again here I mentioned fluctuation is the agglomeration of the destabilization particles into large size particles known as flux, which can be effectively removed by sedimentation or flotation. These are the mechanical fluctuators. If you switch on the button, then automatically this will rotate. This will rotate. Okay. So automatically the dose will be added to the water. This is the example for the mechanical device. Here you can see the buffel, the water creating, we are creating the turbulence to the water. Okay, horizontal buffel tank, this is horizontal buffel tank. The water flows horizontally. The water flows horizontally. The buffel valve helps to create turbulence and thus facilitate mixing. If you take the vertical buffel tank, the water flows vertically. This is flowing like this vertically. Okay, here the water moving like this horizontal. The water flows vertically. The buffel valve helps to create turbulence and thus facilitate mixing. Clear? This is a plan. Hydraulic fluctuator, simple technology. You can see these are the baffles. This is a horizontal flow. Water is flowing like this from this chamber to this chamber. from here to here, like this. Next one is clarifier. After fluctuation, water enters the settling tank, which is commonly called as clarifier. Okay. Now, in the sedimentation process, what is happening? Simple sedimentation process. You are storing the water in the particular tank. After certain time, all the collided particles will be settled down. If is there any suspended particles is which is specific gravity is lighter than water, those will be removed by the addition of coagulant. What is meant by coagulant? Coagulant is nothing but chemical. If you add the chemical, all the suspended and collided particles will come and join together, just like hair. Okay, just like glue. Those specific gravity will be increased by this addition of chemicals. Then finally the specific gravity of the flux will be greater than the water, then it will be settled down. After that, we have to send that water into the clarifier. After fluctuation, water enters the settling tank, which is commonly called clarifier. Clarifluculator. Next process is clarifluculator. In modern practice, fluctuator and clarifier are provided in one unit. In earlier days, in olden days, what happened? They were conducted in separate way. Uh, they did coagulant in the one chamber. Next one is fluctuator in the one chamber. Next, clarification in the other chamber. So nowadays in the modern period, these are the assembling units. Okay, you can practice all those things in a single unit, that is clarifluculator. In modern practice, fluctuator and clarifier are provided in one unit called clarifluculator, in which chamber is provided in the center and clarifier compartments is formed by the peripheral space. Okay, this is the clarifluculator. You can see here everything is arranged in the single unit. This is the component parts. These are the component parts. You can see. Okay. Here, this is intake well, fluctuator impeller. At the top, you can observe this is the platform. This is the platform. Next one is the entire one portion is attached to the platform, that is handrail. Okay, for supporting purpose we are providing this handrail. For here we have inlet pipe. This is inlet pipe. Okay, you have to send the water from this inlet pipe. Next, on the top you can observe this is scraping arm lifting device. Next one is Environ through torque center drive. This portion is Environ high torque center drive. The central portion is intake well fluctuator impeller. This is fluctuator impeller. This is a mechanical device. Next one is which is attached to the shaft, that is central shaft. Next one is at the bottom you can observe the scraper arms. These are the arms. Okay. At the bottom you can see the central scraper. Okay. This is the rapid mix clarifactuator. Here what is happening? the particles that will settle within a reasonable period of time. It can be removed in a sedimentation basin, that is clarifier. Okay, then after, the basin can be divided into 4 zones: inlet, settling, outlet, and sludge storage. So if the water enters through this inlet chamber, it fall down. Okay, it will be stored here. Now here, adding some chemicals, those are coagulants like alum. Okay, whenever you are adding that alum, then these central shaft will be rotate. With the help of this impeller, it will be mixed thoroughly with water. After a certain time, all the collided particles will come and join together. Those specific gravity will be increased. Then finally, after 30 minutes, it will be settled down. At the bottom, it will be settled down. After settling, these arms, scraper arms, what will do? All those things rotates. These things, these arms are rotating. All the settling flux, whatever the flux is settled on, that will be removed by central scraper from the bottom of the clarifluctuator. Okay, so rest of the water will be sent out through the outlet chamber. Sent out through the outlet chamber. This is the clarifluctuator. Okay, so effluent you can send through this outlet chamber. Clear? So you can observe, this is a fluctuator mechanical device. Here you are sending the water. So these things will be rotate like this. So entire bottom, you can observe the scrappers which is settled. The sludge will be removed by the scrappers from the bottom. Only the top floating water, remaining water, is effluent, is sent through the outlet chamber. Okay, this is the process. Next one is filtration process. Just a minute. In this sedimentation process, in the sedimentation with coagulation process, we can read one thing, that is coagulant. The paddle mixer, here you can see the pad. This is in this clarifaculator. We have central shaft which is attached by the central scraper arms. Okay, so if you want to add the dose of the chemical, that is that for that mixing purpose, this shaft is required. We have to add some power. With the addition of power, it will be rotate. That is, the required power is CD A rho Vp cube divided by 2. With the help of this equation, you can find out the power imparted in watts. Okay, if you want to find out the power imparted in watts for the shaft, CD equal to, here what is meant by CD? CD is nothing but coefficient of drag paddle. Coefficient of drag paddle. Next one is K. K is nothing but constant. K is constant. That is not required here. Rho equal to density of fluid in kg per meter cube. Density in kg per meter cube. Okay. Next one is A, that is cross sectional area. Which cross sectional area of the paddle? Paddle. Cross sectional area of the paddle. Cross sectional area of the paddle. Okay. Next one is Vp, that is relative velocity. Vp is the relative velocity of paddle. Okay. So with the help of this equation, you can find out the power imparted for the shaft. Okay. In the next class, we will discuss about the filtration process. Filtration process. So once again repeating, fluctuation is nothing but agglomeration of destabilized particles into a large size particles known as a flux, which can be effectively removed by sedimentation or flotation. This is nothing but flocculation. Next, we can do the flocculation with the help of mechanical fluctuators or manual. This is a mechanical fluctuator. Hydraulic fluctuators also there. In the hydraulic fluctuators, we have two types of fluctuators. First one is horizontal, next one is vertical. In the horizontal, buffel tank is there, but in vertical also we have vertical buffels are there. Okay, this is hydraulic fluctuator plan. Main important figure. Now in recent time, in the modern time, we are practicing the entire sedimentation, coagulation, and fluctuation. All those things in the single unit, that is clarifluctulator. In modern practice, fluctulator and clarifier are provided in one unit called clarifluctulator, in which chamber is provided in the center and clarifier compartment is formed by the peripheral space. This is the clarifluctulator. Okay. Yeah, for clarifluctulator, mechanical fluctulator, for shaft running, we required some power. If you want to find out the power imparted for the shaft, you can find out with the help of this equation. Okay, this is the original clarifluctulator figure. Okay, next class we will discuss about the filtration process. Right, bye.